Chef Dan here. Welcome back, everybody. Did you miss me? We've been sheltering in place for a while and starting to expand our horizons again, as so many people tried to do it consciously, carefully, and collectively. And we're back. We're back doing breakfast. So let us know. We're going to start doing this once a week again, mask friendly and all that other good stuff. But we're back in my kitchen and ready to go. So today we're doing breakfast, and hopefully in about 15 minutes. Again, I don't like rushing things, but when I am getting up and getting ready for the world, I obviously have a big agenda ahead of me, just like most people, and I want to get my breakfast done quickly, effectively, and of course, give me the energy to get me through the day. So that does not mean a donut and an espresso, as attractive as that may sound. So today we're doing a little bit of an Asian kind of stir fry on our vegetables, but we're going to add pork medallions. So I'm going to take this tenderloin of pork and cut it up so it cooks fast. And we're going to make a real simple Asian coconut curry sauce. And of course that's going to be the start. So what I got to do, get my pan hot and just start dumping. Can of coconut milk. I'm just going to put the whole thing in. What am I going to do with a half can of coconut? Besides, I'm going to use this sauce again for breakfast tomorrow when you're not watching. So I'm just going to take that coconut milk and dump it on in and give it some flavor. That's got a nice texture. That one didn't separate. That's pretty cool. Usually, a lot of times you'll open it to be separated, real solids and liquids. It'll still mix back together. I love these curry pastes. The Thai Kitchen ones are some of my favorites. They're readily available in all the stores. Green, red, yellow. Pick whichever color you like best. Always remember to eat the rainbow. Remember, this amount is subjective. This is pretty spicy stuff. So the hotter you want it, the more you put in. I like to bump. There's a couple things in the Thai curry paste that I like to increase. And oh, for crying out loud, I got to open a jar. This is a little ground ginger. I'm not going to worry about fresh. And a little ground turmeric, which of course, according to our health experts, say it's like anti-everything bad for you. So get a little turmeric in your diet every day if you can. And it doesn't make you happy when it's just uncooked, but cooking it in with the other flavors for me makes it work. So all I'm going to do is mix that up, and last but not least, I'm going to hit it with just a touch of lime juice to brighten it up, or as Andy would say, SPA, salt, pepper, acid. We're going to start with a half a lime and let that cook. There's my sauce. This is a great versatile sauce. It's, as always, it is for my breakfast. Dairy-free, gluten-free, sugar-free. There's literally no sugar in these Thai curry pastes. You literally have to add it to make it bad, which is, again, a big advantage. So I'm just going to taste that and let it cook and get going on with the rest of my world here. Nice. I'm going to sneak in a little more salt and a little more lime juice. And that's it. It's spicy, so I don't necessarily need to add pepper, although it's kind of cool to always add a little black pepper to help with the turmeric. Gives it a chance for the body to absorb better. And there, I got sauce. Sauces don't have to take a long time. Shouldn't have to take a long time. And then, of course, always make sure your camera person gets a little taste too, as long as they're not allergenic. A lot of times I will even put and don't wear a white shirt when you're the camera person. A lot of times in this, I will even put some nut butter, some almond butter or peanut butter. But today we're dealing with allergies, so we're not going to put any, but a little almond butter makes it magic too. Okay, we're moving on to the pork tenderloin, and everything about this is edible except this little piece of what I call silver skin, right here. This is, of course, a miniature version of filet mignon from pork, not beef. And so this is the only part that I really worry about taking off. And by the way, everybody, we are celebrating that the Bears beat Tom Brady last night. So,
yeah.
Keep that in mind as we go forward. That's it. So what I want to do to make it cook quick is cut it thinner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut little mini pork filet mignons. And we're just going to cut all of them today because I'm not knowing everybody's appetite, and that's it. Just like that. It's going to cook nice and quick. So while my pan's heating up, I'm going to flatten those down just a little bit. And we're going to put a little salt and pepper on these too. And then, as always, very important, we want a nice array of vegetables, which I've already pulled out. And that means I'm going to start heating up my pan for that too. Okay, so separate cutting board, of course, for the raw proteins. Off it goes, pan's heating up. I want to start cutting up my vegetables so everything's nice and thin. I've got some orange cauliflower, and I'm just going to shave that. I'm just going to use the rest of this because I don't know what to do with a tiny bit left over, and I've got 3 mouths to feed today, so I'm going to cook extra. Normally I would, for myself, cook about 1/3 that much. To get the green beans cooking quicker, I'm going to cut them a little bit of an angle. And that's going to thin them down a tad and get those so I can saute them without having to blanch or do any other stuff to it. I'm going to do the same cut with asparagus. I'm not going to use all these green beans today. I'm probably going to have some for dinner tonight if I feel like cooking. Which usually after a long day of dealing with food all day, don't be surprised if I order a burger delivered for dinner. And that's probably going to be enough of that. And then let's get some bell pepper in there. And so I always strive for 4 veggies so I can eat the rainbow on a daily basis. And I almost always finish this off with some onion. Now, I'm about ready to cut the onion, but I also know my pan's getting hot. So again, this becomes the timing thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add my oil, just enough to coat. And as quick as I can, I'm going to lay those pork medallions in there. And I will season the second side when they're all in. Try to get a pan just big enough to hold everything so you don't have to crowd. I want a single layer. Remember, be very nice to your camera person and your guests so that when you ask them to help you clean up, they actually say yes. So I'm going to hit this, a little more salt and pepper. And finish my veggies. As soon as I've got some onion cut up, it's going to be time to throw all these veggies in. I cut julienne vegetables for one simple reason for breakfast, and that is so they will cook quickly in the saute pan or cast iron skillet, whatever you're using. So that's why I cut thin, and I like it a little bit longer because it's easier to pick up with a fork than cutting little dice. I dice for soup, I slice for entrees, as a rule. Okay, in go the veggies. Now, we're in the process of relocating my microwave. So what I'm going to do for today, beautiful rainbow, look at those rainbow vegetables. Once again, I'm going to hit those with salt and pepper. And of course, a little more turmeric. Keep the beasts at bay. And, excuse me if you would please, we're going to microwave just enough of my cooked off brown rice to feed everybody today. So you can see I batched this up yesterday, had a little bit for dinner. I will have this about 2 more times over the course of the weekend. All I want to do is reheat it in the microwave. So A little bit of water, a towel over the top, and my microwave is now in my pantry, so I'm going to do a little vanishing act, and I'll be right back. Pork's halfway done. Get it turned over. They cook really quick this way. 5 minutes maybe total. 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Just going to get them firm to the touch. Oh, that's coming up to heat good. One other thing too, when you use nut butters on that sauce, it'll thicken it as well and give it a little bit more texture. And last but not least today, besides our eggs, is going to be sauteed spinach. I've got this big bag of it that was left over from some other food prep we were doing. So I'm going to cook a big amount of this in the pork pan when the pork comes out. And also, I'm going to start putting a little heat under my egg pan. So I'm just looking at these vegetables to soften up a little bit. They're nice to the bite. Nothing more than that. I'm letting my sauce cook so it'll thicken just a little bit more. I don't need a lot, just a little bit so it coats. And it'll thicken too when it hits all the vegetables. Because today I'm going to put the sauce on the vegetables. A nice vehicle for your flavor is just flavor your vegetables instead of trying to do a separate sauce with your pork like I would if I was in a restaurant. Okay, these guys are starting to firm up. I see a little bit of juice coming out of the top. That's always a good sign. The thickest one's going to come out last. So what I'm going to do is quickly get them out of here. And I'll divide them up later because we're not going to stand on too much ceremony today. My thickest pork is taking a little bit longer. So I want to use this pan to saute some spinach. And we're going to cook a lot because we have a lot. 1 handful for me, 1 handful for the camera, 1 handful for the guest chef, and I still got plenty left over for the weekend. Better make too much spinach soup. So again, that's just going to get hit with a little salt. And a really nice way to let this wilt down is to just turn on low and let the residual heat of the pan cook off that spinach. You're out of here. There's my wilt. Wilting down. So we're going to let that finish cooking. My vegetables are just getting soft. Started to, so this is a real easy thing to do. Just hit them with your sauce. Let it finish. We'll do a little fancy pan juggling here. That goes off and this goes up. All right, let me get my rice. I'll be right back. Now remember, it's breakfast, everybody, so I like to keep things simple, and I mostly like the idea of skillets and bowls. So what I want to do for service, ooh, look at that, it's thickening up real nice, is do Jenna's plate first, because she said no eggs for her today. So you can see that sauce is thickened up onto those vegetables. Beautiful. We got the rainbow, and here we go. First things first. A little rice on the plate. That's cold rice, don't use that. Funny thing, it tastes the same. We're just going to go right in the middle because the middle of the plate's a fun place to start. Don't give her too much, she's petite. let's get some of our wilted spinach on there so she doesn't actually see it when she eats it. You can see it just wilts to nothing. So, yeah, she won't even know it's there. She'll go, what is that wonderful flavor that I can't identify? And then, of course, some veggies and some pork medallions. And for that, we're just going to give her 3, and breakfast is served.
Beautiful.
Okay, I don't know how long that took. The last thing we have to do is get some eggs for Jody and I. So, how do you want your eggs today, Jody?
Over easy.
Over easy. She loves watching me flip the eggs, don't you, Jody?
Yep.
There you go. I've only flipped a few thousand eggs, maybe 100,000. I don't know. Corrupt youth spent working Sunday brunch omelet stations. Okay. These don't take very long, so literally as soon as the eggs hit the pan, I can start putting